Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Imran.
Perfect. And you guys can see my screen as well.
Yes.
I can see it.
Okay. Okay, so you all know my name is Imran Rafiq. You guys can call me with my name. So the whole communication is going to be on first name basis. If somebody minds, I can use Mr. with their last name, but first name basis because this is how your environment is going to be. When you're going to work in any financial or healthcare sector as a business analyst, even your managers, you're going to call them with first name basis. The reason is that being a BA, you have to communicate with business team, with IT team. So you have to have this kind of flexibility between each other that you're comfortable talking to each other, comfortable explaining certain situations. So first name basis. My name is Imran Rafiq. I am a business analyst. I was a business analyst. Been working for almost 10 years. This is my 11th year. 5 years I worked as a consultant where I did multiple projects, around four projects, four assignments, five, six different projects. And then since 2000, end of 15, start of 16, I've been into training, and I've been training through mainly New Jersey. That was the place where my office was. Now I'm in Pakistan for almost 1 year, and now I'm giving training from here. Talking about my educational background, my education is MBA. I did bachelor's, 4 year bachelor's in business management with majors in marketing and finance, and I did MBA, 2 year MBA that was mainly in HR, human resource management. And then when I went into USA, a friend of mine told me about a consulting firm, and then I went in, I joined their course, and I went into financial sector, which was initially I thought that I won't be able to handle it as my majors are in human resource. But believe or not, every single assignment I did, every single project I did, I never called back that consulting firm that I need help on something. And this is not because I'm very smart. This is because when you work as a BA, you are given enough time to understand the environment. In most cases, in most cases. Sometime yesterday, Anil and I was talking about certain situations where, let's suppose, if somebody gets fired, BA position, and then they hire someone new and they start giving him work from day one. Can that happen? Yes, that can happen. But they won't assign work from day one. They will just simply let him know that this is what we are doing. So expect us to assign you something in a couple of days. So by the time you can go through certain documentation, if you need knowledge transfer, we can ask someone to help you on our project. If you want to sit with development team to understand what is currently going on, we can do that as well. So most cases, you will be given enough time to go through things, go through stuff, and understand what you are going to do. And one most important thing which I have experienced myself, I have applied on myself, is doing as is analysis. Basically understanding that bank where you're going to work, what is this bank, what are product and services, and which department you're working with, what are they offering, what are their operations, who's their user base. Then understanding whatever team you are going to work, what is the role of that team, what current projects they are overtaking, and where you are going to be assigned. So if you do this kind of search, things will become much more easy. Now coming back to what I have done, so I did same kind of training as you guys are doing back in 2010 11, and I got my first project. I finished that project. I didn't know anything what I was doing, honestly. because that time training was not that thorough. We were not told what tools we are going to use, what different processes are going to be, and there was no training on the financial sector, only BA basic. But thankfully, thank God, I got a very good team, very supporting team. For first 2 3 weeks, they didn't even touch me. They've been telling me, just go through this software, read this, read that, whatever understanding you need, you can ask us. And after 2 3 weeks, I had to tell them that, okay guys, I'm getting bored now, so please assign me something. So that went pretty smoothly, even though I didn't know what I'm doing. I was able to do everything, but I didn't know why I'm doing it. In my second project, when I started working on second project, one thing it gave me was confidence that all my interviews, I started tracking every single interview. I lined up 4 5 different placements for myself, and then I had to pick and choose one. When I started my second project, and when they started assigning me tasks, when I started working on the project, everything started coming back to me that what I was doing in first project, this is how I'm going to do, and this is why I'm going to do it. So first project is something which will, once you are done with it, even if you stay with one client for 2 months, it will give you a lot of boost in your career. It will bring a lot of confidence in you. You will start understanding different aspects of BA, what different users are, how to interact with them, how to conduct meetings, how to use basic softwares, project management software. So that from then onward, things became very easy for me, and then I came into this training. I did 4 projects. My last project was with Barclays Capital. It used to be Barclays Capital, and now it's only Barclays Investment Bank. So since then, I've been training. I have trained around, I don't know, 1,000 people. I have at least 500 consultants who are working currently. Pretty much everyone who took training from me, they got job. They are still in the same field. Most of them are working full time. Pay packages are pretty good. So give me 1 second, guys. Just let me answer this. Okay, my bad. Let me see if the conference is being recorded or not. I think it is being recorded. Okay, yes, it is being recorded. All right. Um, that's why I asked you to add me on LinkedIn. Anyone who joined just now, my LinkedIn is posted in this chat, so you can simply go and add me. I have a complete network. We have this culture where all these consultants which I've trained, they help each other in sense that, let's suppose if somebody is going for interview, you guys are fresher, and guys are going for interview in Bank of America, and the department name is financial crimes. So I will try to locate anyone who's working, any of my consultant who's working in the same bank and same department, so I can connect you with that person, so you understand before going into interview what is that you're going to do, and what are the expected question, and how to answer those. Anyway, we'll cover every single aspect before even interview. You'll be doing a call with me. That requirement will be discussed thoroughly. Anything if I have to give you in terms of reading, I'll share. If I have any document related to that, I'll share those, and whatever my insights are, my understanding on that project is, I'll walk you through that. So we need to build up that network, and we need to help and support each other. And hopefully once you guys get your projects, you will be helping the newcomers as well. So this is how we need to build this relationship. uh, so this is me. If you have any question about me, my experience, my career, my education, you guys can ask me. But I would like to ask you something now. Namarta, if you can tell me about yourself, what you have been doing, and why you want to become a BA.
Hi, Imran. So I have been in human resources as well, and I have been in human resources for 10 years. And I have gotten into a saturation point where I don't see any succession plan for my role anymore, not within just the current company that I am in, but even outside. And pandemic has made it only worse now because human resources is such a easy job to get. I feel anybody and everybody is applying, so the competition has increased. Plus, the money is less, and it does not give me the motivation that I had when I started this career, and that's why I'm looking to switch.
Okay. And what is your education background?
I've completed my post-graduation diploma in financial market and insurance.
So you understand financial markets and insurance concepts as well, even though it's been, I think, you're not applying that in your career, but still, if once I go through the financial concepts,
Yeah, I have studied them, but it's been ages. Yeah, I would need a refreshers, but I've studied them back in days. Yes.
no, no, we'll thoroughly cover the course. We'll thoroughly go through financial markets, different projects happening in financial market, different platforms, different concepts, different operations. So we'll be covering that, but it's a good thing that your education is supporting this process, this overall BA. So that'll be a good plus for you. Jaspir,
Thanks.
thank you.
Hi everyone. My education level is bachelor in literature,
Bachelor
and
in?
basically literature in English.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. So basically, my background is education field. Paraprofessional, which is substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So due to pandemic, I was not able to work that much, and I have a daughter. Because of that situation, I was looking to do something through home, which was sport. That
Okay,
was the reason I want to switch. Yeah,
good, good. ठीक है.
and I took 2 trainings for BA before.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. So of course
Yes,
we'll be helpful as
hopefully
well.
this is the last
No,
one, and I can get something.
of course, whatever you learned, it is going to help you. Even in this course,
Yeah,
maybe I'm going to cover similar thing. I really don't know what kind of training you've
yes.
taken, but still, let me know if
Still, yeah, there's always something to learn. Yes,
yes, exactly.
every day.
And I know
Yeah,
about Anil, I know about Ali, so good. Let's move on. What is this course about going to be? Uh,
sure.
for your reference, Anil is from Canada, Ali is from New York City, and they also want to switch their careers. Anil has been in this field for quite long time, not directly working in the industry, but supporting this industry. So, Anil, if you want to add something, you can add. Otherwise, we can proceed.
Yeah, please move on.
Perfect. Thank you, Anil. Okay, so this BA course, I've divided it into 4 parts, 4 phases. First phase is going to be business analysis, which is going to be 9 days, 9 lectures. So 2 weeks top that will cover your BA, which will cover your BA basic concept. What is a business analyst? What really they need to do? What kind of interaction they have with what kind of teams? Basic BA concept. Then you have SDLC, software development lifecycle, different methodologies which are going to be implemented, going to be used whenever there's a project. They use these methodologies to either create, develop, enhance, or re-engineer the softwares. Then we'll be covering within your BA lectures, we'll be covering, give me one second. So within this, we'll be covering UML, Unified Modeling Language. These are different types of process flows, business process modeling and notations, workflows, screen designs, use cases, different types of diagrams to support your documentation. And then we'll be also covering the documentation part, what kind of documents as a DA you're going to be creating, supporting. Then this course will include testing, how you're going to perform testing, how you're going to support user testing, what kind of documents you're going to create during these testing phases, what kind of environments and tools you are going to use to manage this overall testing framework. And then finally, we'll be covering within this course is data warehousing concept, which will be basically about what is data, how do you analyze data, and how do you map data. And then that will be also covering your software called database called SQL Server, where I'll be showing you how to perform analysis using SQL, what different queries you need to know and use as a business analyst. So this course is going to be 9 days, and it will have around 8 assignments. All those assignments, whatever tools you're going to use, eventually these assignments should be kept on one platform that is going to be called Jira. That is most commonly used software whenever if you work in financial sector or any other sector, you will see they are using either Jira or the alternative of Jira, that is Rally, to manage, to track, to organize the whole project. So I'll be also asking you to get Jira. It have 7 days access trial version. So within those 7 to 8 days, you have to do these assignments and put it on Jira. So by this process, when we are completing these concepts, you will be learning 3 different tools. So you'll be using Jira, you'll be using Microsoft Visio or Lucid Charts or Balsamic. And then you'll be also using SQL Server. And these are going to be the major tools as a BA you're going to use. So this is your first part. Your second part is going to cover your domain. Domain is your basically industry, financial, insurance sector. If there are 4 industries mainly, mainly 4 industries. There's many, but major 4 industries are financial sector, healthcare, insurance, and e-commerce. We are going to target financial and insurance sector. Okay, so that will cover your domain, financial domain. These are going to be 1 week, so around 4 to 5 lectures, which will cover 3 major areas of financial markets. Number 1, capital market, which will be going to cover capital market products, which are securities, stocks, bonds, derivatives, mutual funds, and all that. And then within that, what is the trade life cycle, securities trade life cycle. And then what are different types of capital market platforms, like wealth management platform or portfolio management platform, investment banking platform, mortgage servicing platform. So that these platforms will also be covered. The second part of your domain is going to be on compliances, which is going to cover 3 different types of compliances. One is KYC, other is anti-money laundering, and third is trade compliance, trade monitoring. And whatever softwares which are currently being used in KYC, AML, and trade compliance, pretty much there are 3 to 4 softwares which is used by every single bank or brokerage firm or investment firm. These are 3 to 4 softwares. Pretty much everywhere they are being used across UK as well as in US as well as in Canada. I'll be covering those platforms. My major area is compliance. I have been working on compliance. I've worked on 3 different projects. I've worked mainly on AML and trade compliance. So I will be covering those softwares, their implementation, and I will be sharing their guides as well, software guides, actual software guides. The third part is going to cover risk management. What are different types of risk pertaining to financial markets, credit risk, market risk, operational risk, liquidity risk, and then what are different methods of calculation of risk, even though as a BA you're not going to do calculation, but just for the understanding sake. And then what different types of reportings are being done by these banks. We'll be covering those reporting. Major reports are CCAR reports and Basel reports. So that would be your 1 week. So 3 weeks will be able to cover BA plus financial domain. Third part is going to be your resume preparation plus scripts. So whatever resume we are going to select, I'll make sure whatever you guys have already done, that will be included within this new BA resume. And then on every single project we are going to keep in your profile, I am going to give you stories, scripts which you need to improve. And for every project, whatever documents are already available with me, I'm going to also share those. So resume preparation plus stories and scripts for each project, which will cover your front end part as a BA, what you did on front end, what you did on back end, what kind of testing you performed, what were the use cases and all those. So that would be covered in your third phase. And then the last phase is going to be your mock-ups, mock interviews. So approximately, it depends how much you cover. I'm gonna spend around 2 weeks on mock interviews, so around everyone will be having at least 8 interviews. Okay, every one of you will give me around 8 interviews on daily basis, and I'll give you some ratings as well. That what you need to do, what areas need to be improved, what further you need to read. And then once your mock interviews are done, you may take only 1 week, you may take 2 weeks. If you need more time, I'm always there. Once all these 4 phases are completed, I am going to ask you that you guys can market yourself. If you need my support, my service for marketing as well, I'll help you on that as well. But apart from that, um, I don't sign any contracts. I'm not a consulting firm. I'm working as an individual. So I'll be giving you whole training. I'll be handling you your resume. Once you go into market, you will start getting interviews. Now, when you're getting interviews, you have to tell me that, Imran, I have an interview tomorrow or day after tomorrow, or it has been scheduled, so that I can do a session with you. Anyway, I have a continuous session, same time, 9 a.m. EST till 11. I'm always, pretty much always online. So you guys can jump into this link and then discuss with me that this is my interview and I need your help. So that, and then inshallah, once you guys get your job, you would need background check support. I'll be providing that as well. If you guys need it. If you don't need it, then fine. Now, anyone have any question till now?
Imran, so this would be a daily training, or how do you go about it?
Daily training every day, maximum 1 hour 10-15 minutes, not more than that. Okay. It will be
I
daily
see.
training. First 9 days will cover your BA part, and then next week will cover your financial domain, and further we'll work on the resume preparation. So around 5 weeks, 4 to 5 week, max 6 week top, you guys should be in market.
I see. And when you say daily, including the weekends, right?
No. So no weekends. Weekends are off. 5 days a
I
week,
see. Okay.
Monday to
Okay.
Friday.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. So just gonna give you a very high level idea about BA. So we can first, tomorrow I'll start my first lecture. Now, if I ask you, Jaspir, what is a business analyst? What is his role? If you can just 2-3 lines.
Okay. So as a business analyst, we have to work with the technical team. Sorry, my daughter is making noise. Just give me a second.
Sure. Namrata, what is your understanding about this role? What is the
So
job duty of BA?
the business analyst would be performing a role of being a liaison between the stakeholders and a development team. So basically, they understand the requirement of a stakeholder, what needs to be done, and write the requirement, the business requirements, and give it to developers so that they can develop.
Why business cannot directly talk to development team and get it developed? Why they need BAs?
So the reason for that is, say for example, business users could be many, or there could be many people, and if they're not technical, they do not articulate the things the way business analysts would do for the
Sure.
developer, and they would have one common ground between both the parties.
Perfect.
That's what I feel.
Very good. That's exactly what they are supposed to do, and this is why they do it. Okay. Anil, can you tell me something else about BA? What is your understanding about business analyst?
Sure. My understanding is basically a business analyst is kind of a problem solver and a liaison between the business
Mm-hmm.
and the development team. So basically, he's trying to understand the need of the business and articulate the need in terms of how the IT understands and come out and test it and provide the entire solution, but back and forth between the business and IT.
Perfect. Very nice. Thank you so much. Okay, so both of you guys have pretty much explained what I was going to explain, but I'm going to again revisit it. So BA basically is somebody who have two types of skills. One is IT and one is industry. You cannot survive if you only understand IT, or you cannot survive if you only understand industry but you don't understand much about IT practices. So being a BA, this is how we have designed this course as well. Being a BA, you have to have understanding of both information technology, whatever principles, whatever development life cycles are there, how development is done, testing and all those concepts, what softwares, major softwares are going to be used, what different types of documentations are needed whenever you're designing softwares. That understanding plus industry, wherever they are going to work. If it is healthcare, then they need to understand, am I going to work for a payer side or provider side? If it is insurance side or anything, what different types of claims are there? Insurance claims, what different types of processing are there? Same way in financial market, if you're going to work in an investment banking department, you need to understand what is investment banking. What are different types of product and services? What are different types of financial securities my bank is offering? What different types of accounts my bank is offering? Investment accounts. What is the trade life cycle of each investment or each security? So it's very important for a good BA to have a very good understanding of both IT and industry. And within IT, you must have heard, are you a functional BA or are you a technical BA? So within IT as well, some BAs only have understanding of functional part. Functional part mean communication, gathering requirement, getting information from the business users, what they are looking for, and then converting them into documentation, and then passing these documents further to the development team so they can design the software, test it, and all that. And some BAs are going to be both functional and technical, where they are doing documentation as well as they are working on the data side as well. And data becomes very, very, very important. And I don't think that anyone who's a functional BA, they can survive longer in this market. You have to have both technical as well as functional skill. And when I say technical skill, believe me, technical skill are the most easiest one for a BA in this case. Only thing you need to know is how to open a database, how to look at a data table, and how to map that table, how to map that information. Your applications are nothing without information. Every application, every software which is being designed, it is designed for one purpose, one reason, and that is basically automating everything, automation. For example, your processes, different investment banking processes, if they're automated using a software. For example, every day basis, there are millions of transactions happening in a bank using different types of accounts, checking accounts, saving accounts, investment accounts, different types of retirement accounts. There are so many clients a bank have, and all these clients are using their cards and using their platforms and doing these transactions. Now if they have to manually check these transactions one by one to see if there's any transaction which is suspicious, which is fraudulent, they need a lot of people to do that, and which is very humanly impossible. The size of the bank, the scale of the bank, that is humanly impossible. So you design softwares So these softwares can track and monitor each single account. But these softwares are nothing if you do not provide them with the information they need to work. What information these softwares need? They need to have the information about the account. What is the account ID? What is the account open date, account status, and all those things, account balances. The softwares need to have information about that client who is owning that account. What is the client name? What is his date of birth, his social security number, his addresses, if any other information, domicile, his ID card number, whatever that information which they capture when they open account, you need to give it to the software. Software needs your transaction information. What is the transaction ID? What is the transaction amount? What is the transaction date? The currency in which transaction is being done, the sending country, the receiving country, or sending person or receiving person, timestamp, all those facts and figures, everything it needs. That is basically data. And your bank stores this data in their databases. When you open account, you walk into JP Morgan Chase and you want to open account, checking account. Either they give you a form to fill up, or a representative is sitting in front of you and they are asking you about your basic information. And then they ask you, can you give me your ID? Can you give me your physical social security card as well? And when they capture all this information, that information eventually sits in the database. Database is nothing but tables and columns. Customer have their own table, transaction have their own table, account have their own table. Customer table will store information such as customer name, customer ID, customer address, last name, whatever, social security number, date of birth, all those information which they have captured from you. That table should store it. And now when you're designing the application, you're designing two things. Every application have a front end and a back end. What is a front end? Front end is nothing but the screen, the user interface you can see. You all use Chase mobile application or Bank of America online mobile application. That is the front end. Using that application, you can log in, you can deposit funds, you can deposit check, you can transfer funds, you can view your balance, you can print your statement, you can view your statement. That is the front end functionality. But that functionality cannot work until you support it with a proper backend. And backend is nothing but that data which you need to put in the application. So on the backend side, as a BA, if you're a technical BA, you want to become a technical BA, you will be saying, okay, tell me what are the front end functionalities, and for each functionality, what information you need. So for example, deposit check is one function on your Chase mobile application. What information you see when you're depositing application, or what information your application is taking? Deposit, it checks the check ID, amount, and let's suppose date. This is what we need to deposit check. This is what we need to have this function working properly. Now, one of the BA, he'll say, okay, this is the data you need. Let me go through the database where we store this information about this client, about this check, and let me find out in which table, which column, in which data format this information is stored. That process is called mapping process. You put it on Excel sheet, every single data attribute, where it is stored, how it is stored. And then you provide this mapping back to the development team, and development team will connect this mapping to this function. That is their role. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to provide them mapping, identify where this data is stored and how it is stored. So functional BA as well as technical BA, this course will be covering both techno-functional aspects. We'll be working thoroughly on data side, different data concepts, data reporting, all those concepts. And then front end, of course, front end is the important part for a BA. So our first 5 lectures are going to cover your front end part. Now, coming back to the concept of a business analysis. So BA is a bridge between business and IT team. Reason being that this person understands both business and IT. So it is easy for a business analyst to communicate with both teams, because business cannot directly communicate with IT, because IT won't understand business terminologies. Most of your developers start of their career, of course, eventually when they grow up, they start learning, they start understanding industry as well. But most of the developers are not concerned with the financial concepts. They know what they need to do in terms of developing code and all that. They will request you information and they will design it for you. They really don't care. I'm not saying everyone, but mostly they really don't care why we are doing it. So when business is going to have meeting with IT team, business is not going to be able to highlight the importance of it and use the proper accurate keywords or terminologies they need to use. Same way, business will not understand IT, because IT is going to talk in terms of IT. They are going to use all those IT terminologies. So business will not be able to understand. So they need somebody who can understand both these parties, somebody who's a mediator. But here, as a BA, when you're working as a BA, you are face of the project. Okay, you have to support everything. So when you talk about business, business would have stakeholders, C-level executives, CEOs, all those people who are going to make decision on either budgeting, resourcing, project timelines, what is needed, what should be in scope, what should be out of scope. These are going to be your stakeholders, the main deciding factors. So you will be interacting with them as well, but not too often. Maybe in the initial phase of the project, they'll be having steering committee meetings and they can invite you, and then you can understand why they want to do it, what is their problem and all that. Main person, main party you are going to interact with is going to be called product owner or subject matter expert. Who's a product owner or who's a subject matter expert? This is the person who have the ultimate understanding and knowledge about the software you are going to design for them. They'll be the one who will be requesting you what we need. They'll be the one who will be sending you, giving you requirement. They'll be the one who will be overseeing whole this project with you. So you will be working very closely with the product owner or subject matter expert. And once you do 4 or 5 projects in one domain, financial domain, you join any bank full time, you will become product owner as well, because now you've done many projects, you understand these platforms. For instance, AML, anti-money laundering. If you do 3-4 projects on anti-money laundering, you become product owner. Now you can give requirements to the BAs and the IT team that okay, this is what we need in this software, these are all the functionalities. So product owner is the person who's going to pass you these requirements, who's going to have meetings with you, communication with you, and they are the one who are going to be the main point of contact. And then you will have users, operation people who are going to be eventually using this application. They are the actual users. You will be also interacting with them once you are helping them during the testing phase. User acceptance testing will be done by actual users. So 1 or 2 users will be assigned for testing, and you will be supporting and helping them during the testing. So these are the parties you'll be interacting from the business side. On the IT side, you have front-end developer who are going to design the front-end, the UI part. Back-end developers are going to work on the data part, performing all those validations, conversions, transformations, whatever they need to do, data modeling and all that, they'll be doing that for you. You will have a database management team also there who will be supporting you and helping you getting access to the databases. You're having any issues in the database, they'll be helping you clarifying those issues. And then you will be working closely with the testing team as well, who are going to perform testing. QA, quality analyst, quality assurance team, they will perform automation testing. Even your developers are going to do testing. Even you as a BA are going to do testing, but your testing is very basic testing. You'll be simply launching the application and going through each and every single functionality feature you have designed, and just cross matching it, verifying it if that has been developed according to the documents you have provided. And your major role is, once you gather information what is needed, you perform analysis on it, you'll be finally be able to come up with the documents. These documents are nothing but the architecture or design of your application, and these documents must be signed off or approved by the business users. Once they are approved, that means this is what we need to design. You pass it on to development team, and then it is their role that they will be designing it, and you will be simply viewing it, thoroughly examining it, checking it, doing multiple meetings with them, all those things. So that is the overall role of a business analyst. And whenever you are going to work in any sector as a BA, you'll be having multiple projects. There are going to be different types of projects you can be involved in. You will be involved in new product development, that the software is going to be designed from scratch. You're going to work on projects which need enhancements. Software already exists, but you are helping them in improving that software, adding more features into it, and enhancements can be done for multiple reasons, okay, which we'll be covering in our lectures. You will be working on projects such as re-engineering. You're having platforms, existing platform already there, but there are certain things changed in your organization. Hierarchy change, processes change, something has happened, some corporate actions has happened, and because of that, now you want to re-engineer the way your applications are working currently. You want to re-engineer them because maybe the users have been changed, the access have been changed. And then you'll be working on project where you're not designing application, but you're only helping the client migrating the data from an old legacy system into a new application, or a new system into a new database. So when you're doing data migration, that would be another project you will be involved in. And then eventually also you'll be working in third party implementation. What is third party implementation? Most banks, they love to create their own softwares, but for certain practices, for certain operations, they're not able to. So they hire or they get the license from the software house. There are multiple software house who are working in America, who are designing anti-money laundering softwares or trade monitoring softwares or KYC softwares, and then these clients are using their software. They're paying them the license fees and all that. So when you're implementing an already developed platform and you're bringing it into your client location, that is called third-party implementation. When you're implementing it, software is already there, it is already designed. So as a BA, what are you going to do? You're going to support an implementation by doing customizations, doing some tunings on it, performing testing on it, and majorly mapping this software to your databases, because the software is nothing without your data. So that would be, so these are different types of projects you are going to be involved in when you're going to work as BAs, inshallah. Major tools you are going to use, I've already mentioned those tools. So Jira or Rally, these are all alternative softwares. Team Foundation Server, these are called agile management software. There's one of the methodology of designing software that is called agile, and for agile they will be using Jira, Rally, or Team Foundation Server, and pretty much 60 to 70% projects are done using agile. So mostly you will see Jira or Rally. So we'll be covering Jira. You'll be using MS Project sometime if you're working closely with the PMO office, so that you'll be supporting them. But main tool you'll be using is going to be Microsoft Visio, Microsoft Excel. SharePoint, which is nothing but a C drive or D drive where all the documents are shared. Project documentation is shared. So it's a basic, you don't need to learn it. It's just as you're opening a C drive or D drive, it have folders, and within folders you have your own documents. Only thing it does basically is, if you are having document in SharePoint and you are working on that document, whatever changes you are making, it will record it. Who made those changes, when this document was changed. So it does the version control. And then you will be using softwares, database softwares, which are Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle Server. And for testing purposes, sometime mostly you'll be using Jira, but for some time they will be using ALM or HP or Mercury Quality Center. So we'll be also covering this tool. We'll be covering Visio, we'll be covering Jira. All these tools will be covered. So this is your course. This is what we are going to do. Tomorrow I'm going to walk you through two SDLC, software development lifecycle methodologies. One is your traditional approach, which is called waterfall. Second is your iterative method, new method, modern approach, which is most commonly being used, that is called agile. And agile have further agile scrum, agile XP, and agile kanban. So we'll be covering those tomorrow, and then from there onward we'll take on one by one. Anyone have any questions so far?
Yes, Imran, I have a few questions.
Sure.
Yeah. While you're explaining about the role of business analyst, in terms of testing, the users do test, and there could be some functional users who aggressively test in an organization, and some may moderately do and give their approval. If the project is successful, everybody is okay. If the project is failure, who is tagged on it? Is it a project manager, or is it a BA, or who is responsible for it?
Very, very valid question. So Anil is saying that sometimes users are not, they're busy, maybe they're not concerned too much about testing because they think that already testing has been performed. So if they don't do it, and if something happens, project fails, or there's a major defect or bugs, who's responsible? So now, one thing you have to be very clear, before the application goes to user testing environment, which is called UAT environment, it goes into dev environment first. So your development team, coding team, is going to perform unit testing, integration testing, system integration testing, and component integration testing. Same time, couple of BAs are going to be performing same system integration, functional testing, all these things, and they are going to raise and fix defects within the same cycle, within the same phase. They will not move the application with a bug or defect to the users. In some cases, one of my project, in some cases, if there's a bug and defect which you're not able to fix within that phase of IT team testing, which is BA and developer, you are going to highlight it to users by sending an email that, okay, we are moving the application for user acceptance testing, but we are going in with one bug or two bugs. So please do not test that yet. You can test rest of the functionality, and then once that bug has been fixed, we'll let you know and you can test it. So first thing is, you should not go with a bug or defect when you give application to users. You only give application to users when you are satisfied that there's no bug. Now, in terms of responsibility, who takes it? I don't think here anyone have to take responsibility if you already take care of all those bugs within your own testing phase. But if overall something else has happened, who takes the responsibility? Of course, your project manager and the IT team leader. They could be director, your managers. They are the one first. That is their responsibility, and they have to take this responsibility because they are answerable. They need to make sure whatever testing we are performing, we are giving them reports on timely basis. They are checking our reports. They are making sure that we have done all these testing. Whatever documents we are preparing, they need to make sure. You have to tell them that, even though I've taken the sign off from the business users, but as a BA, you have to tell them that you also have to visit it. Your PM must go through your whole document. Your team leader must go through your whole document. You must be showing your document progress every week. What I used to do when I was creating FRD, functional requirement document, every Thursday I used to sit with my PM and my team lead, and I used to tell them, this is what I've covered so far in this document. Please sit with me and revise. Any suggestion you have, let me know, and then I will put those suggestions in the version control first page of that FRD or BRD, that I have made these adjustment because of suggestion by my PM, whatever his name is. You record every single thing. Let's suppose your manager tells you, change this functionality or do it according to me. You cannot do it. You should not do it, because every requirement need to be approved and come from the business side team, product owner, subject matter expert. If your manager is pushing you that, okay, we can give them something extra just to show off, tell him, can you send me an email? Can you write an email to me and tell me this thing in email? First of all, he will not do it. He or she will not do it. And if they are doing it, simply take that email to product owner if something happens later on and tell him, this is what I got from the manager. But in terms of testing, you should not move your product into user acceptance testing unless you've raised and you've fixed all the defects. Does this answer your question, Anil?
Yes, Imran. Further questions on that. So when you're saying you're sitting with the project manager and IT team leader, so these are meetings. Are they recorded using a live video camera or a phone?
No. So they cannot be recorded. The best approach is this. Always do this. Never skip
Minutes
it.
of
Never ever skip it. Do minutes of meeting. If you're having meeting, prepare your minutes of meeting and share it with your manager that this is what we discussed and these are the action item or the agenda for next week or next meeting. Send it to the person, involve everyone who was there in the meeting, CC them or directly send it to them, put down what was the date when meeting happened, put down the name of the meeting, put down the time of the meeting, put down the attendees who were there in the meeting. Then first thing would be, the first bullet point would be action items or discussion points. Whatever was discussed, put it like this, then put the next point, that is the agenda or suggestions or agenda or whatever has been assigned to whoever it has been assigned and for what date it has been assigned, put it down. So minutes of meeting is the best approach. Nobody is going to tell you. Your managers will sometime not tell you that, but as a BA you need to make sure, because
Sorry to cut you off. So that's our responsibility, right?
exactly
Nobody's gonna tell us like do
yeah, it is
this,
your
do that.
responsibility and they will be expecting it from you that you should be sending minute of meeting. Now there would be some meetings
Okay.
which are on individual basis, one-to-one, let's suppose with my manager. I cannot write down in terms of minute of meeting, but I can simply send him an email. So let's suppose, Akash, we discussed this, and I'm going to work on this. Thank you so much. Best regards, Imran Rafiq. Send it. At least you have something in you, in later on if somebody comes to you and tell you that why you didn't do it or why you have done this, then you can say that I had a discussion with my manager and this is what we discussed, and I've already sent him an email as well, and you can show them that proof. When my business users approve my BRD and FRD, when they usually, you send it through email and you tell them that this is the functionality that you guys requested and this is the document I'm attaching. Please, if you guys can review it and let me know if you approve it, sign it off. So they simply reply you with one thing: I sign off to this functionality. I sign off to this FRD. I saved their emails in SharePoint. I made a folder in SharePoint, approvals. I saved that email from Outlook, took a copy of it, stored it in SharePoint, gave access to every single member in my team that this is what I've done. I've done my responsibility. Nobody is going to look at my emails, personal emails. So I have to do this. So I had to print it out, take a copy of it, put it in SharePoint so that everyone knows that I've done my work. I've taken approval from these people. These are the email verification. Anil?
It's very clear on that point, but a little tricky question that I wanted to ask. I mean, probably for my clarification. Now, you send the minutes of the meeting to the parties who are attendees and who discuss some meeting points. The email did not have a read receipt, and the email person did not answer you anything. After a few days, he comes back and then say, this point was not discussed, and you are showing this, I have sent it. But the corresponding confirmation that he has received the email has not come to you.
Okay, so if there
So
are
communication,
multiple
I'm actually just to complete my question.
Yeah.
I'm asking this question from a perspective of communication. Communication is only completed when it is start from a particular end, reaches the target, and the target confirms saying that I have received your communication. Is not confirming that I have read your communication. So in email, you are sending from your end, communication is initiated and it reached the target because the email did not bounce. So technically, the other party, should they have to confirm? Is there a read receipt to an email, or is it some kind of confirmation that we received an email?
So
Because minutes of the meeting is not making anything there.
mostly I've seen this while working as a BA, that there's a read receipt, number one, mostly. Second thing is, if they don't read it, if they don't respond it, it is not your headache. You are supposed to convey that message. And because there are multiple attendees, you're sending it to everyone. So everyone know that they receive this communication, so there's nothing on your side. If they want to blame you, if they want to bring in a steering committee meeting that, okay, we didn't discuss this and he still was doing it, or he still approved this thing, they designed this function or this feature without my permission, you at least have your proof with you that on this day we discussed this. On the same day I sent a meeting, this minute of meetings, this person could have told me that no, we did not discuss it. Why didn't he raise question that day? And this is the proper protocol we follow. Every time we have minutes of meeting, every time we have meeting, we send minute of meeting. Mostly 99% nobody will respond to you on that. 99% of time they will not respond to that. But you have done your part. You just have to make sure you have done your part.
Okay, great. Another question, Imran.
Go ahead.
So when you, like, for example, any kind of a BRD, you're taking approval from the business or the users or SME, saying this is the highlights or this is the overall picture, and it is generally a document, right? It will run into several pages, and it is numbered, I believe, in terms of point one relates to this, point two relates to. So it is some kind of format which will have a number.
Yes, template there.
So how is the user telling you? Is he writing you another email saying, reply to it saying that this point number 4 and subsection 1, here is the mistake, or is he correcting inside and putting his input directly in the document?
So there are two things they do usually. One thing is that you provide them with a hard copy also and a soft copy as well. I used to do this both, email them and then provide them with a hard copy so that they can put down. I will be sharing you my Barclays documentation on third lecture, and you will see that document is approval by my manager. He's putting some points, change this, change that, change this, change that. So usually what they do is on a hard copy, they will highlight it. And if you are sitting, let's suppose having meeting, face-to-face meeting, they simply will tell you change this, change that. You're simply taking notes, and then you're putting them in the revision, the first version control. Every document will have a version control. When this document was started, what was the version 1, what is version 2, at what date you discuss what. So you will be putting that after discussion with my manager, this is what I had to adjust. And then also the hard copy they will be highlighting there as well. And then again, once approval is done, approval will be done by the business users, not by your IT team only, your manager or your project manager, the business users. If they are saying we approve this functionality, you've done your part. Now, regardless this function, something was not conveyed, something was not communicated, and it is part of the document, when your business user is telling you that I approved or I sign off to this functionality, they are supposed to check it. Because when I sent my document to business users, they said we need 1 week time. He said I need to go through it again and again and again and again and again, because I don't want burden on myself. That if something is wrong, something we didn't discuss, that is part of it. And that is the reason you don't have one sign off person or approval person. You will have two groups. One are going to be reviewers and one are going to be sign off people. So around 10 to 12 people will be signing or reviewing your document. And of course, if something was not discussed between those meetings and all that, at least someone would highlight it. So mostly that happens that after doing all these reviews and sign off, if they have some inputs, they give you those inputs, you put it in the document, you again resend it. They will simply check that part, that okay, we asked him to put inputs in scope or out of scope part. They will simply go through it.
Okay, just to add on, Now you mentioned two groups. One is the reviewer groups and the sign-off groups. So the reviewer groups, the sign-off groups are also part of reviewer groups, because without reviewing it, how can they sign?
Both. No. Reviewer, sometimes reviewer simply means somebody who's looking at it. So my whole IT team, one person from front-end developer, one person from back-end development team, one person from quality assurance team, one person from project management office, and one of my team lead or senior BA. They are all going to be reviewers. Within those reviewers, two people are going to be sign off. One is my project manager and one is my IT team lead or IT team manager. They will be also reviewers plus sign off people. And then business stakeholders, 3 to 4 stakeholders are going to be there to sign it off for you.
Now, who mentions this? I mean, I'm sure, like, let's say I know why I'm walking into it. How do I make out who signs and who reviews
So
when you walk into a project?
you don't, as a BA, that is not your responsibility. That is the responsibility of steering committee. When your project is started, initiated, they decide all these things, that who are the affected people who are going to be, affected by this project, who are going to be using this software application, or who are going to be approving the budget or something. So they will decide all these things, even the methodology, what software development lifecycle you're going to use, what softwares you're going to do. BA have no say in that whatsoever. You are not going to put down those reviewer lists. What you will do is you will copy paste sign off and reviewer people from the first, either they created a feasibility report, either they created a project charter document, or they provided you with a business requirement document. Whatever people are listed there, you will simply copy and paste them in your FRD or your functional requirement as well. And then you will go to your project manager or your IT team lead and discuss with them that these are the people. Do you want to add anyone in this? So they can further discuss within themselves if they want to involve anyone who is going to be a reviewer or who is going to be a sign-off person. They can assign that, okay, within your IT team, pick this person, pick that person, pick this person as reviewers. So I'll simply add those as reviewers. But I am no one to decide. I have no authority to decide who is going to review it, who is going to sign it off. This information will be provided to me either there's an existing document, a business document, business proposal document, business use case document, business requirement document, or project charter document. These documents will have all this information, which I'll be simply taking from them.
Okay, Imran, just to ask a little more, but I didn't want to really bug you. My question was, let's say I'm walking. Okay, my question is, I'm walking into, let's say, this bank of, JP Morgan and Chase, for example, into a project. Now I dressed up, I went to a full professional. So the team is expecting that I know this basic navigation, right? So let's say I'm in your team. So you expect me to understand and go through this. I've joined this project. So first 1-2 weeks, I'm actually going through this documentation. So you are sharing, you're pointing me to a common folder. It could be a SharePoint, it could be a shared folder on a particular drive. And you say, okay, Anil, you joined this project, go through this documentation. Now, as a BA, what is the important documents that I should review? That is a must. All are must, but what are the important things? For example, this approval kind of thing. Who are there? Is there a list that I can prepare from this course that okay, this is what I should be doing this?
So it depends at what phase of the project you have joined. If you have joined from start, very initial phase, which is not mostly common practice. Mostly they already decide the business proposal, they already decide the business use case, they already decide what teams, what tools, what softwares they are going to use to develop this. Usually they hire you then. So at that phase, you will most probably have a document called BRD or business use case document or business proposal document or project charter document. So these are going to be available if you are joining in a very initial phase. Now, if you are joining in mid development is already there, they are developing the product, so that means you have functional documentation also. Those functional documents could be either FRD or they could be user story specification document. Also, you will be provided with technical documents which are going to be called SRS, system requirement specification, or technical document, which generally as a BA you really don't need to go through that, only basically to understand what technologies they are using. But most important documents are going to be FRDs and user stories, but generally they hire you to create these documents. But in case if somebody has been laid off and it's a development phase, then you will be made available with all these documents. And if all these documents are available, simply go through BRD and then go through FRD. If they don't create FRD, they'll be creating user stories, then go through user stories and read it.
Great. So to answer my question, the BRD or the project tractor will have all this information as who is the sign off, who is
Exactly.
the okay.
Exactly. I'll be sending
All right.
you some BRDs and FRDs I've created. You'll be able to see sign off and reviewer and their titles as well and their departments as well. So that will make a little bit more understanding why they are there.
Okay. Another question, Imran. Shall I continue or
Continue,
shall I
come on.
wait?
Nine,
No,
continue.
no, I just. Uh, so in the BA in a project, is there a single person BA as a group of BAs? What is the structure?
So it depends what kind of project you're working in. If it is a simple project, a basic application, user interface application development project, you might be only working with one more BA. Usually there are two BAs. Most cases you will have two BAs even for a smaller project. Why? Reason is
Mhm.
your project is going to have two phases. One is going to be front end, one is going to be back end. Front end mean documentation part, requirement gathering part, document analysis, requirement analysis, creating of user stories, creation, mock-up, screen design, workflow, process flow. So one BA will be handling the front end part. The backend part mean
Mhm.
development, basically part mean design or coding part, which as a BA your responsibility is to provide do data analysis for the coding team, provide data mapping document for the coding team, and then somebody who can also do data validation and data testing as well. So usually you'll have to. Now it depends at what phase they've hired you. Let's suppose if they've hired you only for the technical part, they've already let go on the front end BAs, then you would be only one person. Now I can give you example of my projects. My first project, we were 11 BAs. It is a software house. We were designing, we were selling three major softwares: compliance software, trading software, and KYC software. We all were working on all these three software at same time, dealing multiple clients. So we were 11 BAs working in one team. My second
Mhm.
project, we were 4 BAs. My third project, we were 3 BAs. And my fourth project with Barclay, we were 5 BAs. But eventually, at the end of the project delivery, I was the only one. I was the team lead and I was the only one remaining. All other three, they either resigned or they were fired. The reason
Mhm.
was very stupid. So we'll discuss that later on. So it depends. Usually you will have multiple BAs. Most cases you will have multiple BAs, but again it depends upon why they've hired you. If they've hired you only for testing, that oh we need some BA who can perform user acceptance testing, then you might be only working alone. You might have other BAs, but they will not be connecting you with them. But in most
Mhm.
cases, minimum 2 to 3 BAs are going to be there. There's front end,
Okay.
there's back end.
So my question is little silly. So you, I mean, it's a team effort, right? So you are believing the person's work done. Is that how we should go, or should not believe the person's work done? Like for example, if you are a BA and this small application project is going through, so part of the BA is distributed between front end and part is back end. Let us say I've been hired for a back end,
Mhm.
and I do the entire BA part and also test it and give it to the coding guys. So I have to go with an assumption in my mind saying that the front end part, whatever is my BA, counter BA is giving me, or BA team member is giving me, that is perfect. Or should I go with a doubt in my mind saying that that is not
Not silly
perfect?
question. It's a valid question, and to basically overcome this problem, and this is a very, very common problem. Used to be a common problem, not anymore. That is the reason the most projects are moving toward agile environments. And you understand agile
Mhm,
environment, there is multiple meetings and project is broken down into chunks, into smaller components, and
mhm,
cross functional teams are going to work together in one time frame. So let's suppose in 1 week, tester, BA, QA, developers, they are going to work on one thing all together at one shot, one go, and all of
mhm.
these will be testing at one go as well. So if you follow agile principle, if your company is following agile principle, then chances are very less that somebody is going to make mistake and nobody would be able to notice it. Okay,
Mhm.
every day there are multiple meetings, communication, you can check each other work, you can assign each other stories to yourself, each other's ticket to yourself. If you're having difficulty in something, you can simply tell your manager in the meeting that, okay, I'm having difficulty on this ticket, can you assign it to someone else and I can work on this, and they would not mind it. Okay, that is the
Mhm.
beauty of agile mechanism which they are using. In terms of waterfall environment, you don't work in cross functional team, you work pretty much in the individual grounds, because as a BA, first you have to prepare documents, complete documents. Once they're given to development team, the whole application is going to be developed, and then the whole application is going to be tested. So everyone is working in their own phases. So in that case, yes, you might have troubles, you might face that. But again, a second pair of eyes, that is what I always suggest. Even if you are working on one document and there's another fellow BA with you, just go walk to him and tell him that, okay, I've designed this thing, can you go through it and check me? And same way you can help him check whatever he or she is doing. So always build up this kind of relationship. Also, I used to go to development team and sit with them and gupshup karta tha, and used to talk to them what they are doing, try to figure out where they stand. You have to build this relationship, you have to make sure, because if one person fails, one person is not able to do the task properly, the whole team is going to fail. Okay, and
So
there's
in
no leg
essence,
pulling. Pretty much, there's no more leg pulling due to the agile environment. Everyone knows what each and everyone is doing, and they are already communicating. Everything is made visible. Everything is put on one centralized platform. You can view everything, check everything. So chances are less that somebody is not working properly and they will be neglected. Nobody is going to be neglected. Everyone work is going to be checked and rechecked again and again.
so in essence, what you said is basically you do your part of the job, and also you have to do your team members' reviewing job.
Yes,
Likewise, your job will be reviewed.
exactly, exactly.
So it's like cricket. You run for your run, and also you run for your teammates' run.
That is not run, but that is kind of like being there for them when they are running.
Yeah, I
You
mean, if you're a non-batsman, if you take a single, you have to run for the run,
yes,
right?
you're
So,
right. You're right.
yeah,
In terms of cricket, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to bring some humor.
No, that's good. That's good. Okay. Any other question? Anyone else have question? Namarta, Sonam, anyone? Ali?
So, if nobody has, I'll have one more question if
Sure,
you
sure.
allow me.
Hmm.
So, the smaller project you gave me example of between front end and the back end. So, as a BA, now you'll be preparing us for both front end as well as
And back.
back end, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So front end basically would be including how to gather requirement, how to conduct various meetings, and then how to analyze those requirements, what are different process to analyze, and then how to document those requirements. And to support this document, what kind of supporting documents you can provide, like mockups and screen designs and process flows and use cases. So that would be covering your front end part, including understanding of software development lifecycle methods, what softwares are going to be used, and how you are going to manage that. The backend part is going to include what is data, how do you view data, how do you analyze data, how do you perform data validation checks, how do you do data testing, and then eventually the most important document, how do you create data mapping document, and then teaching you SQL Server, different queries on SQL Server, uh, concept of data modeling, what are different types of data models, how do you design those data models, how do you view those data models. That part would be covering your backend. And plus the third part is going to be testing. As a BA, what is testing, how do you do testing, what documents you prepare, what teams you work with, what are going to be different types of testing environments, what are going to be different types of testing tools you're going to use. So that would be also added to this front end backend.
Well, on a lighter side, I mean, on a simple understanding sense, validation and testings are both different things, is it?
Yes, can be said same. Depends. Data validation or data testing, pretty much the same concept. Within data testing, you can say there's concept of data validation, there's a concept of data reconciliation, there's a concept of data quality checks. So testing is a general term I'm using, data testing. Within that, you can further say that data reconciliation, data validations, these are few concepts that you'll be learning. And overall, I'll be showing you how to design a data warehouse, what is a data warehouse, and when they design data warehouse, how do they design data warehouse. For example, if Bank of America is having multiple platforms through which they capture data, they have bank teller system where you walk in, you're depositing or cashing your checks. They have their basic branch representatives who are taking your information on forms. They have Chase mobile application where you're using this application to transfer funds and all that. They have major source ATM machines where you are swiping your cards and they're getting data. Now, how they are going to move all this data from all these temporary systems into a final database or a data warehouse where your data or your bank data is going to get stored forever. And that would be used for reporting purposes, that would be used for analysis purposes, that would be used for the development of application purposes. So when they are moving this data from these sources, how they are moving it, what process they are using, they're using ETL process called extract, transform, and load data. As a BA, if you're working in this project, what do you do? Starting from point one to last point.
So extract, transfer, and load is the process that you're trying to do.
ETL.
So there would be millions of records, right? So do you write scripts for this? I mean,
No,
is
so
there technology involved?
no, so you don't write script for that. There are ETL jobs done by the ETL developers using their tools, Informatica or Cognos or SSIS. There are multiple tools they're using. As a BA, my role is to identify what data need to be transformed, what data need to be, extracted or moved, and then finding out where this data is, and then eventually be able to analyze the data if there's any issues, if whatever is needed, is it available, not available, correct formats or not, and then eventually be able to create the ETL mapping document that would highlight the data they need, in which data source it is sitting. Is it ATM machine, is it a bank teller system, is it the Chase mobile application, is it Chase trading application, where it is sitting. Third column would be the column name, the table name, if your data is sitting in customer table or account table or transaction table or which table. And then the fourth column would be how they are storing it, what is the format of data, is it a number, is it an integer, is it a variable character, non-variable character, if the date of birth is stored, in what format it is stored, is it stored in month, year, date, or date, month, year. So highlighting that, putting all this information on an Excel sheet, and then passing it on to the ETL team. Now it is their responsibility. I've done their job for them. I've made their life easy by telling them that this is where the data is sitting, this is how it is sitting. You simply go and collect it, extract it. They'll be plugging in their software with that source system, and they'll be bringing all this information into a staging environment, and where they can do all those transformations, conversions, data scrubbing, whatever they want to do with this data before storing it into the final data warehouse. So I basically help them in gathering the data requirement from business users, doing analysis on that data, if that is available or not, and what format and quality of it or not, and then finally be able to develop the data mapping or ETL mapping document for them. And eventually, once they move all this data into the final source system. I help them in performing data testing, data validations, and all that. So that would be my responsibility.
Great. Imran, final question from my side for this today.
Sure.
From standpoint of Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, these are the two tools that I've been using, or I'm sure many of us are using for several years. Okay, that is from a layman perspective. From a BA perspective, what all should we learn from a Word, MS Word, and Excel to be ready?
Okay, so in terms of Word, whatever you already know, that is pretty much, I think, what you need. If you don't know how to insert automated table of contents, please learn that, how to insert automated table of contents. Apart from that, if you know how to do that revision check, let's suppose if you're proofreading your Word document, you have to do, I totally forgot the name of that function. It's called review, and then you can basically strike the a word with a red line showing that this is what we need to remove. So if you can learn that, these are two things: insert table, automated table, and then that review, when you're reviewing your document, striking those words which you don't need, so that you can show it to your manager that this is what I've done, this is the proofreading, this is what I've taken out, this is what I've added. So that these two functions are important. The third thing, I don't think so there's anything else in terms of Word. In terms of Excel, if you can learn basic formulas, and then two concepts: pivot table and VLOOKUP. Pivot table and VLOOKUP. And then the third thing, please write it down. Third thing, if you guys are not taking notes, you should be taking notes. Sorry, I didn't tell you. The third thing you need to learn is, if you get a data from a flat file in Excel, how you are going to break it down and change it into a proper format. That concept is called using colon. You can do delimitations, delimitators. I think that is the concept. So please also go through that and learn that. I'm forgetting that function. Hold on one second. I've written it down yesterday somewhere. I was helping someone to. Okay. So format validity routing. Firstly, will be loaded staging area, performing all these above mentioned check. Okay, setting reference data file that can be mastered how to use lookup values. Perform definition mapping from source to target, and setting up on import template for reuse, ability to compress file, decompress, ability to set up templates, setting template as private shareable, system ability to validate template, ability to validate. That function, I think, simply check, Google it, how to change flat file in Excel. Flat file data in Excel, there's a function, I think it's called limitators or something. Just go through it. If I go through it, I'll check it, I'll text you guys. So that is one. So pivot table, VLOOKUP, and this changing flat file into proper data, that is what you need to know. The function is, let me see who I was helping. Sonam. Sonam, you there?
Yeah, hi Imran.
Hi.
Sorry for
What was
the
that in your project we were discussing? If you want to change the flat file in Excel, that function is called God. Let me see.
I mean, you just gave me a broad understanding of the project to do the data mapping, right?
Using text delimiter. So text
Delimitations, yeah, to
delimitation.
change the attributes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So learn that,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Imran, so further in the course, are you going to touch upon these points? Are you going to show us how it is going to be working, or we have to?
No. Everything I'll be showing you. Only thing I won't be showing you is pivot table or VLOOKUP. You can learn it in 2 minutes from YouTube or Google.
Of course.
But everything else in terms of BA role, responsibilities, what documents you need, whatever processes you need to do, whatever softwares you need to do, I'll be covering every single thing.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
So I don't know, Imran, if I missed anything.